Why did Maria Callas storm off stage under the moon's gaze? The answer will shake everything you thought you knew about one of opera's most infamous moments. What I'm about to tell you about was never meant to be public. And certain powerful figures in both the music and scientific communities have worked tirelessly to keep this buried for decades. The connection between Callas' legendary 1958 Norma walkout and the celestial forces at work that night goes far deeper than anyone has ever revealed. Between you and me, this story isn't just about a diva's tantrum. It's about cosmic forces, hidden agendas, and a truth so explosive it could rewrite musical and astronomical history simultaneously. My industry source, a former assistant to Callas who has remained anonymous for over 60 years, finally broke their silence last month. What they revealed to me sends chills down my spine even now. The tabloids reported a simple case of a temperamental soprano refusing to continue after Act 1, but the real story, it's written in the stars. Literally. Before I reveal what actually happened that fateful night in Rome, you need to understand something crucial about Maria Callas. She wasn't just the definitive Norma of her generation. She was obsessed with the cosmic symbolism embedded within Bellini's masterpiece. Between rehearsals, my source confirms Callas would frequently consult astronomical charts and lunar calendars. Strange behavior for an opera singer. That's exactly what everyone thought. Until now. The official story claims Callas had bronchitis that night, weakening her voice and leading to her dramatic exit. But my source revealed to me that just hours before the performance, Callas received a mysterious package containing ancient astronomical calculations, specifically related to the moon's position over Rome that evening. She became visibly shaken after reading them, muttering something about the alignment being perfect and the gateway opening. What the tabloids don't know is that Norma isn't just an opera about a druid priestess. It's encoded with astronomical knowledge dating back thousands of years. The aria Casta Diva isn't merely a prayer to the moon goddess. It's actually a precise mathematical formula describing lunar orbital patterns when sung at specific pitches. And Callas, she was the only soprano in modern history whose vocal range could hit the exact frequencies needed to complete the equation. The president of Italy's National Astronomical Observatory was mysteriously present backstage that night, not as an opera lover, but as part of a small group of scientists who had been monitoring Callas for years. They don't want this getting out, but my source confirmed their presence with photographic evidence I've personally verified. But that's nothing compared to what happened next. During the first act, as Callas began Casta Diva, witnesses reported unusual atmospheric phenomena inside the Rome Opera House. Temperature fluctuations, static electricity, and most disturbing of all, the chandelier crystals began resonating at the exact frequency of her voice. My industry source revealed that 3 separate recording devices placed around the theater to capture her performance simultaneously malfunctioned during the same 8 measures of music, the exact measures containing the mathematical core of the lunar formula. The breaking point came during intermission. Callas was approached by a man described only as elderly, distinguished, with an accent no one could place. He handed her a note, and after reading it, she went pale. She immediately demanded the performance be stopped. When the management refused, she created the scene that would become operatic legend, but not for the reasons everyone thinks. The truth finally exposed after 6 decades. Maria Callas didn't walk out because of bronchitis or a tantrum. She walked out because she realized what was actually happening when she sang Norma under that particular lunar configuration. According to my source, who overheard her frantic phone call immediately after leaving the stage, Callas believed her voice was triggering something that should remain dormant for humanity's sake. Astronomers have been hiding something critical about that night. The lunar position over Rome created what scientists call a gravitational anomaly, a rare configuration that occurs only once every 144 years. The same configuration was present during 3 other famous historical events: the mysterious destruction of the Library of Alexandria, Galileo's secret unpublished discoveries, and the unexplained astronomical observations of the Vatican in 1814 that remain classified to this day. What they've been hiding is that Callas' voice, at those specific frequencies, during that specific lunar alignment, was creating measurable disturbances in the local gravitational field. Sound impossible? That's exactly what they want you to think. But the evidence is overwhelming. In the weeks following her walkout, observatories around the world recorded unprecedented lunar behavior, subtle orbital fluctuations that couldn't be explained by conventional physics. Between you and me, Callas knew exactly what she was doing. The bronchitis story was a cover, one she herself helped create. My source revealed that Callas had been corresponding with a secretive group of scientist musicians for years before the incident, studying the ancient connections between certain vocal frequencies and cosmic phenomena. The Rome performance wasn't just another Norma, it was meant to be an experiment. But something went wrong. Or perhaps, something went too right. The most shocking revelation comes from declassified CIA documents my research team uncovered last year. The agency had been monitoring Callas as part of a classified program studying the effects of sound on physical matter. Code name Nightingale. The program was supposedly terminated in 1956, but my source confirms it continued unofficially, with Callas as its unwitting centerpiece. The scientists believed her unique vocal cords could produce frequencies capable of affecting molecular structures, and potentially, under the right astronomical conditions, affecting gravitational fields. Now you might be wondering why this matters today, more than 6 decades later. Here's where it gets truly disturbing. The exact same lunar configuration that occurred during the Rome walkout will happen again next month. And an international consortium of opera houses has been secretly planning a global simultaneous performance of Norma to coincide with this alignment. Coincidence? I think not. But that's just the beginning of this cosmic conspiracy. What the astronomy community doesn't want you to know is that Norma contains more than just lunar mathematics. The opera's structure perfectly mirrors the orbital patterns of a celestial body that wasn't officially discovered until 1930, Pluto. How could Bellini have encoded this information in 1831? Unless he had access to knowledge that predated modern astronomy by centuries. My industry source revealed to me that Callas discovered this connection while studying ancient Druidic astronomical texts preserved in a private collection in Milan. These texts described a cyclical cosmic event involving the moon and what they called the Dark Wanderer, now believed to be Pluto, that occurs every 144 years. During this alignment, the texts claimed sound waves of specific frequencies could temporarily thin the veil between dimensions. The most disturbing part. After Callas' walkout, she never performed Norma during a full moon again. Not once. She adjusted her schedule, canceled performances, even claimed illness, anything to avoid singing those specific passages under lunar influence. When pressed by confidants, she would only say, "Some doors should remain closed." What they've been hiding from the public is that 3 other sopranos who later performed Norma during similar lunar phases reported experiencing unexplainable phenomena. One described feeling possessed during Casta Diva. Another claimed to have temporary amnesia immediately following her performance. The third, most disturbing of all, reportedly gained the ability to predict astronomical events with uncanny accuracy for several weeks before suddenly losing this ability. Between you and me, the scientific establishment has been studying the Callas effect for decades. My source provided documentation of secret acoustic experiments conducted in observatories rather than laboratories, measuring how certain vocal frequencies interact with gravitational waves during specific lunar phases. The results were so controversial that the findings were immediately classified. But that's nothing compared to what happened in 1972, when Callas herself participated in private recordings of Norma selections under strictly controlled conditions at a remote observatory in Chile. The data from those sessions remain sealed, but my source reports that equipment malfunctions occurred exactly as they had in Rome years earlier. More disturbing still, astronomical instruments detected what scientists described as a momentary thinning in the fabric of spacetime itself. The truth finally exposed. Maria Callas wasn't just an opera singer. She was a pivotal figure in humanity's understanding of the connection between sound, gravity, and cosmic forces. Her infamous walkout wasn't diva behavior. It was an act of protection. She understood something that science is only now beginning to acknowledge, that certain combinations of sound frequencies, human bioelectricity, and astronomical alignments can create effects that defy our current understanding of physics. Why has this been kept secret for so long? My industry source points to a convergence of interests. Scientific institutions afraid of acknowledging phenomena they can't explain. Musical organizations protecting the reputation of classical performance, and government agencies concerned about potential applications of frequency-based gravitational manipulation. The perfect storm of secrecy. What the tabloids don't know is that Callas left behind a journal detailing everything she had learned. After her death in 1977, it disappeared from her Paris apartment before police even arrived. My source believes it was taken by the same mysterious scientific group that had been monitoring her for decades. The journal reportedly contained not just her knowledge of the Norma-lunar connection, but calculations predicting future alignments and their potential effects. The most chilling revelation. The alignment happening next month is supposedly the most powerful in the 144-year cycle. And unlike in 1958, when only Callas was performing during the critical moment, next month's coordinated global Norma performances could amplify the effect exponentially. Multiple sopranos around the world, all singing those specific frequencies during the exact same lunar configuration. It's unprecedented. Between you and me, certain astronomical observatories have installed new equipment specifically designed to measure gravitational fluctuations during these performances. They're expecting something to happen. What exactly? That remains classified. But my source has indicated it relates to a phenomenon physicists call dimensional resonance. theoretical moments when barriers between different planes of existence temporarily weaken. The astronomy community has been tracking unusual lunar behavior for months now, subtle anomalies in its orbital parameters that mainstream scientific publications haven't reported. These changes perfectly match prediction found in those ancient Druidic texts Callas studied. It's as if the moon itself is preparing for something. But that's nothing compared to what I discovered last week. After months of investigation, I located one of the sound engineers who worked on Callas' 1972 Chile recordings. Now elderly and feeling the need to clear my conscience before I die, he confirmed the most shocking part of this entire story. During the recording of Casta Diva, for approximately 4.3 seconds, their instruments detected what appeared to be a response to Callas' voice, coming from the direction of the moon. Yes, you heard that correctly. Something responded. The engineer described it as a harmonic return signal, like an echo, but it couldn't be an echo because the mathematical delay was wrong, and the frequency pattern was slightly altered, as if something was answering her. They don't want this getting out, but 3 separate recording devices captured this response. 2 of the recordings were immediately confiscated by individuals who identified themselves as government representatives. The 3rd copy mysteriously disappeared from a locked vault 2 days later. But not before preliminary analysis suggested something truly unbelievable. The return signal contained embedded mathematical sequences that, when decoded, formed a partial star map highlighting a previously unknown celestial body beyond Pluto. What they've been hiding is that this discovery directly influenced the search parameters that eventually led to the detection of what we now call Eris, the dwarf planet officially discovered in 2005. The astronomical coordinates were first identified in that mysterious response to Callas' voice, decades before technology supposedly advanced enough to detect it. The truth finally exposed. Maria Callas didn't just walk off stage to protect her reputation or because of bronchitis. She walked off because she understood she was part of something far bigger, a cosmic conversation that humanity wasn't ready for. The lunar themes in Norma aren't just poetic metaphors. They're actual scientific formulas disguised as bel canto melodies, preserved and transmitted through generations of performers. Between you and me, the current scientific establishment is deeply divided about next month's alignment and performances. Some believe nothing unusual will happen. Others are preparing observation equipment with unprecedented sensitivity. And a small but influential group is quietly trying to convince opera houses around the world to cancel their Norma performances during the critical 3-day window without explaining why. My source revealed to me that several prominent astronomers have taken sudden sabbaticals, coinciding exactly with next month's lunar event. They're relocating to remote observatories, away from major population centers. Preparation, precaution, or panic. Now, I've shared information today that powerful people have tried to keep hidden for decades. The connection between Callas' infamous walkout and astronomical phenomena is just the beginning of a much larger story, one that connects ancient knowledge, musical frequency, and cosmic communication in ways that challenge everything we think we know about our place in the universe. But here's the thing. There's more. Much more. Information so sensitive, I can't share it in this format. The complete dossier my source provided contains details about subsequent attempts to replicate the Callas effect, the true nature of what was communicated in that response signal, and most critically, What scientists believe might happen during next month's alignment if multiple sopranos worldwide hit those specific frequencies simultaneously. If you want to know what's really happening before the mainstream media gets hold of this story, if they ever do, you need to subscribe now and hit the notification bell. In my next video, dropping exactly 48 hours from now, I'll reveal the contents of a classified memo circulated among major observatories worldwide regarding preparation protocols for next month's event. I'll also share the mathematical analysis of Casta Diva that reveals its embedded astronomical formulas that precisely calculate lunar positions with greater accuracy than was supposedly possible in the 19th century. The question isn't just why Maria Callas walked off stage under the moon's gaze that night in Rome. The real question is, what was gazing back at her? And what will happen when multiple voices call out to it simultaneously next month? The truth is stranger and more terrifying than anyone has imagined. And time is running out, estimated duration, 9.6 minutes.